Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome, Lieutenant Governor. We are letting a bunch of people into through the waiting room right now, so we're going to go ahead and get started in just a couple of moments in respect of everyone's time, and we're certainly excited to have you join us this morning.
Happy to be with you.
So with us today, you've obviously got some folks from your team. I want to welcome Solon Mayor Eddie Kraus is here. Usually I catch him while he's not looking at his screen, but I couldn't do it today with the Lieutenant Governor on board.
I appreciate that, Tom.
No problem. So we'll give it about 30 more seconds and then we're going to jump right into it. While we are letting some more people into the waiting room, I just want to just recognize behind the scenes and our investors throughout the course of the year that, allow us to put on this programming, allow us to do a lot of things virtually and really, value what the Solon Chamber, is doing for, not only their business, but the Solon business community, as a whole. So they're listed here for our civic and key investors. And the next slide, there's no way I can read them all out, but everybody that you've seen so far has invested at least $1,000 into the Solon Chamber this year to allow us to deliver those programs. So a huge thank you to all those folks that allow us to make it happen. So we are going to jump right in. I promise this intro bio is only 22 pages long, and then we'll turn it over to the Lieutenant Governor. But on November 6, 2018, Jon Husted was elected to serve as the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Ohio. He's also served as Ohio Secretary of State, Speaker of the House of Representatives, a member of the Ohio Senate, and most importantly to me, as Vice President for Economic Development at the Dayton Area Chamber of Commerce. What I'd like to highlight, the Lieutenant Governor oversees the Office of Workforce Transformation and Innovate Ohio, but specifically TechCred. We got news on June 4th this month that over 23,700 credentials have been approved through TechCred, which is really upskilling them. Have I been muted that whole time?
No. Last 10 seconds.
Oh, just the last 10 seconds. Oh, it was Kaylin. She just apologized. But with our TechCred credentials of close to 24,000, exceeding the administration's goals in the first 2 years of the program. So the Solon Chamber of Commerce is honored to turn the program over to Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted to learn more about what the state of Ohio is doing to address workforce labor issues that many of our businesses are facing. Throughout the course of the program, if you have any questions for the Lieutenant Governor, you can send them via chat to myself or to Kaylin Mills, and then we will get those answered. So take it away, Lieutenant Governor Husted.
Great, thank you. It's wonderful to be with you. Solon is obviously one of the great places to live in the state of Ohio, so it's a good group to be able to talk with. There's a lot of opportunities, and your community is one of those that are going to be leading the way in a variety of fronts. So it's great to join you. Let me just say that I know that we're all quickly and largely resuming the lives that we once knew, albeit with the lessons learned from a pandemic and much more remote and digital and flexible in terms of the way that we're approaching life now than maybe we were 15 months ago. Ohio weathered the storm very well through COVID in terms of protecting both lives and livelihoods. I think by both of those measures, we took a balanced approach because of some of the things that Governor DeWine and the team were able to accomplish during that time frame. Ohio's unemployment rate never hit the highs that the country's national rate did, and we are recovering as it relates to the unemployment rate and a number of other factors better than much of the rest of the country, particularly larger states. We refunded $8 billion worth of workers' compensation premiums, which I hope was helpful to many of you who hopefully got them in a timely manner. We didn't shut down as strictly as a lot of other places, so the recovery came back a little bit better. And right now, I would say in Ohio, we are in a situation where we're creating jobs faster than we can create the people to take them. As I often say, you can't create a job until you have people who are willing to take a job. And we have been aggressive in our daily, weekly news conferences we did throughout the pandemic. I tried to make people aware of all of the resources and the jobs that we have available. If you went today to ohiomeansjobs.com, you would see that there are over 103,000 jobs available open right now that pay $50,000 a year or more, around 200,000 jobs overall. And that's just posted. Some of those are duplicates, meaning that a company has a job posting, but they may be hiring 8 people, 10 people in those particular skill areas. So there are a lot of jobs out there that are being created. I know as businesses, you're probably experiencing this, but we tried to put the tools in the hands of Ohioans to accomplish, to get themselves prepared for work. First of all, a pilot, Ohio Works pilot, was established with Jobs Ohio in the Cleveland area to help move people, to transition them from either unemployment or underemployment to a career that's more suitable and sustainable for them, connecting them with resources like transportation and other things to help them join or transition in the workforce. Some of our signature programs, you mentioned one of them, Tech Cred, and the IMAP program, its sister program. For those of you that don't know, Tech Cred will pay up to $2,000 for one of your employees or future employees to earn a credential, an industry recognized technology credential. And then the IMAP program is for somebody who isn't connected with an employer who wants to upskill. We'll pay up to $3,000 to help them earn those tech credentials. Every one of these credentials we know are in demand, so we're not paying for something that we know won't, or that may not lead to a job. We know that these will lead to careers that are out there. Additionally, we're pushing hard to help increase the number of high school students with industry recognized credentials, putting incentives into the budget for more high school students to be career or college ready. By the way, I really have been pushing career technical education. People used to think, hey, that's either I'm going to go for a vocational skill or I'm going to go to college. Really, it's both. You can earn college credits while in high school and earning industry credentials so you're career ready right when you leave high school. And we can dig more into all of those things in the question and answer period. Why am I focused so much on workforce issues? Well, it's part of my job as Lieutenant Governor. There's no doubt about that, leading the Office of Workforce Transformation. But to me, this is a win-win for everybody. If an employee or a potential employee has skills that makes them more employable, more job security, higher wages, and more able to live their version of the American dream. Why does it matter for employers? Because they need talent. They need talent that can help them compete with anybody in the world. And we're doing that. We're making that available here in Ohio. And when both of these things work, employers benefit, employees benefit, and all of Ohio benefits. Because I'll tell you, I've been in a lot of conversations in 2021 with employers from Ohio or looking at Ohio. And the number one question always is, can you deliver us the talent we need? That was the number one topic when we secured the Peloton deal in North Central Ohio, Northwest Ohio. It was part of the conversation with the Sherwin-Williams project that we ultimately were able to secure for an expansion in the Cleveland area. We've had lots of these conversations with employers around the state, around the nation. And by the way, we are, as Ohio, on the list of a lot of major employers who want to come to Ohio potentially because of reshoring. That the political instability in Asia, the pandemic exposed the supply chain shortcomings, and many employers are looking at trying to recreate a domestic supply chain. And Ohio being where we are and being having a good business environment and the right and a good cost of living, they're looking at us. And so this talent aspect is critical, because it not only lifts, it's not only a rising tide that lifts everyone, but it is an essential element of economic development these days. That's probably a stronger issue in Ohio today than it's ever been. I remember it used to be taxes. I remember it used to be workers' comp. I remember it used to be a variety of other tort issues in Ohio. No longer are those impediments in the state. As a matter of fact, many of them are advantages. Now it comes down to workforce. And all Midwestern and Northeastern states are really struggling with this. But Ohio, I really believe, has emerged as a go-to state for a lot of these deals and a lot of these opportunities because of our location, because of our quality infrastructure, north, south, east, west ability to move products in and out of the state. And so to the extent that we supply the talent will be the limitation on how far or how quickly we're able to grow Ohio's economy. I also want to mention some of the work that we're doing at Innovate Ohio. Innovate Ohio was conceived by the governor and myself as a way of making sure that we're using technology to better serve our customers, the people of the state of Ohio. So that means modernizing all state government systems. If you've been to the BMV lately, you'll know you don't actually have to go to the BMV. You can check in remotely, never wait in line. A lot of these things you can do remotely. We're trying to do those kinds of things across the state platform through the Innovate Ohio platform that we created, to not have to show up in person, not have to do any paper processing. We're really trying to drive that in throughout the state government enterprise. And it's also a goal to make Ohio the most innovative entrepreneurial state in the Midwest, another signature initiative from Innovate Ohio. And we're doing things like the Ohio IP Promise, which is making it easier to get intellectual property out of our colleges and universities and into the marketplace. We're also working on, a variety of initiatives in that area related to cybersecurity, related to venture investment and things of that sort, which we believe will help make Ohio a more competitive state. Because we don't just want to do what I said at the beginning, we're recruit employers, expand employers in the state, but we want to create new employers, meaning entrepreneurs, Ohio-based entrepreneurs. And as part of that initiative, also in partnership with Jobs Ohio, we created 3 innovation districts: one in Cincinnati, one in Columbus, and certainly one in Cleveland, which is the biggest, $250 million investment that will create a health innovation complex affiliated with all of the different entities that we know in Cleveland traditionally have not worked together: Cleveland Clinic, and Metro, along with Case and Cleveland State, pulling them all together to create an innovation district around healthcare and a global center for the study of pathogens and solutions that hopefully will prevent that the solution, if there is a future virus pandemic, that the solution for that can come right from Ohio. So those are just some of the things that I think are creating great momentum in Ohio. And we have to continue to respond with talent, with creating a great business environment, creating the kinds of communities that people want to live with, quality access to education, and an overall thriving environment. So with that, let me stop and tell you that I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And certainly, I just posted a link or information in the chat for anyone that wants to, ask a question. Feel free to send it to me or myself or my colleague Kaylin in the chat, and we'll be sure to get those answered. But it always takes a moment for people to ask the first question, so I've got a couple lined up for you. So really, the first question, from your perspective in your office, what do you see as the biggest challenge businesses face today and sort of in addressing the workforce labor issue? If there's a single biggest challenge.
Yeah, well, I don't know that there's a single biggest challenge, because it's different for different people. For smaller businesses that struggled with the pandemic, that had to lay employees off, getting them back, being able to pay enough to get them back right now is a big challenge for small businesses. And that, I'm very empathetic to that situation, because you have some of the major employers in the nation who are paying amazing prices, wages. I mean, for example, it's a little outside of Solon, but when Cedar Point announced that they were going to pay people $20 an hour to come work at Cedar Point, that sent shockwaves through that region, that local economy. Same thing happens, when Amazon's in your community, when other places, when big employers are offering wage increases, it makes it hard on small employers that can't afford to keep up, or who have existing contracts that they have to deliver on and can't increase wages and still make money off the contract that they're trying to fulfill. So you have that. And then you have, the issues surrounding technology. And there just not being enough people with the kinds of skills that they need for the jobs that are being created, particularly as things get more and more automated. I read an article the other day where a bunch of economists were basically saying that automation was the biggest factor in the income disparity in our country, because those who have a skill and can participate in an automated mobile economy, they're in very good shape economically, and those that don't struggle to get access to higher paying jobs. That's why tech cred and IMAP are so important. We want them to be able to do that. Another element of it is that you maybe have, and I'm interested in any comments that any of you have on this. You may have some baby boomer types that were working that just decided they didn't want to do it anymore, that they had that the stock market had treated them well, they had saved enough money. When it was time to go back to in-person work, they just decided, I'm not going. You have some of that also that happen, retirements that have occurred. And then you have issues surrounding childcare and other issues. That is largely a government created problem, because when we were paying people, which ends this Saturday in Ohio, an additional $300 a week, or throughout the pandemic, sometimes $600 a week, it was a disincentive for people to rejoin the workforce. And if a childcare worker makes more money not working than they made working, you can't blame them for being hesitant to come back to work. And so and that has a ripple effect throughout the economy. So there are a lot of those factors that are holding people back from rejoining the workforce, that are taking people out of the workforce, that are creating really inflation that we're seeing, wage inflation and overall inflation in the economy, lack of supply of raw materials in some cases for housing and construction, and even automobile production. These factors all put together are both beneficial to some folks and becoming detrimental to some folks. And these are the challenges we have. But these are the right kinds of challenges to have. These are the challenges of a growing economy, not a retracting economy. And we just have to figure out every way we can to get all hands on deck. That's why we've been starting funding high school internships to get more of these students involved at an earlier age.
And thank you for that. I think you point out that there isn't really a single biggest challenge. It's a pretty complex issue depending on industry, your workforce challenges, et cetera. You definitely agree with that. I know when we sort of flow chart out where we need to focus our time, as a chamber, it doesn't take long for us to get to a point where there's a bunch of if, whens, or if this happens, and it becomes extremely, complex. But really looking at, to your point, it's a growing economy. This is a good problem to have versus, hey, we've got, 20% unemployment and there's no jobs. I'm starting to get some questions in from the audience. Just one more from us. So, here in Solon in the business community, we're sort of in this phase, I think, over the next 6 to 9 months, as an opportunity for the community as a whole, business to residential, to participate in what we like to call the next PPP. We call it post-pandemic prosperity. But what can the community do as a whole to help the business community? I know, for instance, like for me, as I've got to practice extreme patience when I'm eating at a restaurant because I know they're down 50%. But any message to the community as a whole to help the business community during this time?
Well, if you know anybody that's not working, get them into the workforce. That certainly would be a one of the big things that you can do. But look, the local issues are often the same. What is it that the businesses need? Well, they always need customers. So participating locally, you mentioned patience and understanding. There's that too. Encouraging somebody that's retired maybe to go to work and help somebody out 10 or 20 hours a week to fill in when they need some help. Getting a teenager off the bench and into the game of work is another opportunity. And I always said this, it's like we need people to go to work, because look, there have been a lot of people who've been at this nonstop, overworked for the past 15 months because they were working and perhaps others weren't. And those folks, maybe want to take a vacation or some weekends off, and so it's just more people. It's like I always say, get more people in the boat and rowing in the same direction. I just think that's the biggest issue right now. But always for local communities, what do people want? They want a great school system. They want safe communities. They want good housing. They want a friendly environment. They want a robust economy. They want leisure activities. All of those things are part of the package of making your community a great place to live. And I know you all know that, your chambers, you get that. But those are the same things that I think they're a lot easier said than done now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the thing that the lens we try and look through, this is an opportunity for employers to really look at what's most important to them from a hiring perspective. Do they have a barrier in place, whether that's an education degree that, is weeding people out, but then also from a community standpoint of looking at the opportunities that are right in their backyard and shifting the norm around that to help, build and sustain a vibrant economic community. So I've got two questions from our participants so far. The first one's technical, so I have no idea. I'm just going to read it word for word. Will the business income deduction and the 3% rate on income in excess over $250,000 be retained?
It was in both versions of the budget as we submitted it, and so I don't see any change to that. It's been something that the small business community has wanted to retain. Actually, the legislature, the last budget cycle, tried to eliminate it. The governor threatened to veto it if the tax. If they wanted to increase the tax, the governor was against increasing the tax on small business. And this time around, the legislature has not wanted to change it. So I fully expect that everybody's taxes will go down after this budget. Income taxes will get cut. And I'm also trying to pursue a capital gains tax cut that will help Ohio attract some of this investment that is leaving the coast. And I think we might be successful with that as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And this one relates to Ohio college students. Is there any thought on eliminating or reducing their college debt if they stay in Ohio, with an Ohio company?
Yeah, look, that conversation always gets discussed, and every piece of data I've seen on it, it doesn't work. Because what you end up doing is paying for kids that were already going to be here, and it really doesn't serve as much of a incentive as we might otherwise think it does. You really, on this particular issue, now having said that, we help. I mean, the programs we have, I always talk about free college. You have access to free college in Ohio if you use the system the right way. And what I mean by that is that you can, if you have high school students, get them enrolled in College Credit Plus. This allows them to earn college credits. I can't tell you how many students I've interviewed who've earned associate's degrees while in high school. They left with an industry recognized credential, whether that's as a robot in robotics or nursing or whatever it might be. They go right into work. right out of high school with an associate's degree in hand, and their employer will pay for the last 2 years of their bachelor's degree. I think that that's the way, that's a better way to get, to build the supply chain, because if you keep a high school student, the last statistic I saw on this, 80% of the time, you will go to work within 50 miles of either where you went to high school or where you went to college. So if we graduate you from high school in Ohio, we keep you at Ohio College or university, you're more likely to stay. We attract more students. We have more freshman enrollees, meaning from out of state into Ohio, than we lose from Ohio to other states. We just have to keep them. I'm always willing to listen to your idea on how you would eliminate student debt for somebody that stays and works in Ohio. But typically, those programs do not show a very good return on investment. You're better off educating them at the front end with that money than at the back end. But if you have different data, please send it to me.
Awesome. So we've got about 4 minutes left. I got 2 questions, and please know any questions that don't get answered, feel free to send them to us, because we will send them down to the office and we'll get back to folks with those answers. And I think you touched on this, so maybe it's further clarification about programs or tech credits for high school students looking to having a career in manufacturing, outside of technical programs within the school or, at the state level. So I think it's more a matter of.
Let me just tell you quick things we're doing. We're trying to get $20 million a year in the budget this year that would pay for an incentive payment to schools to graduate more students with in-demand industry credentials. So we're trying to move to 70,000 students a year from our high schools and career centers with industry recognized technology credentials. So we're trying to put some incentives in that. Tech cred, which go in, use it. I talked to an employer, it was in the Cleveland area the other day, who literally is using tech cred as part of their benefit package. Meaning that they tell you that if you come, they will help you continue to upskill yourself as you work for them. I'm like, hey, whatever works to help grow businesses in Ohio and upskill the people of Ohio, I'm for it. But we're trying to get to 25, goal now. We blew past 10,000 a year. We hope to get to 25,000 industry recognized credentials a year between tech cred and then additionally through the IMAP program. So there is, and many of those come with college credits. So we'll pay for it. There are so many ways that you can get industry credentials, college credits, get it done for free. Working through your community college is a great way to do it. We just got to get more people aware of it and to take advantage of it. So if you're talking about something that you can do, you can all promote the heck out of those things to get more people to earn those credentials.
Yeah, so I would say sort of from our end is what is the best way for us as a chamber, because this is changing the narrative, in a sense of it's not changing the outcome that if healthy businesses, healthy economy, healthy communities. But what can we do? Because we promote. I get ready to.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I suggest. We have a list of all of the people in your community that are using tech cred. Highlight them. Have them tell their story to your other members so that they can understand how it works. And those are great. Those are great tools.
Oh, that's
there's
fantastic.
Nothing better. There's nothing better than one of your peers telling you how they're doing it than to have me tell you how to do it. So they know they're using it.
And that to us is probably the biggest takeaway is not knowing that we know that now. We know that is peer-to-peer is the way to help solve that. As well as the schools that are doing are using the incentive to produce more students. I've got a couple questions I'm going to send down because we are at 11:29. But I want to thank you on behalf of the Solon Chamber of Commerce members, our board of directors, my team for taking time out of your schedule to give us an update. This was extremely helpful from my end, and I hope the participants as well. got something out of it. But we really appreciate your time and your efforts and all that you're doing down in Columbus.
Hey, thank you. Happy to help. I wish you all great success. Let us know if there's ways that we can help you.
Awesome. Thank you so much and have a great week, everybody.